You talk a lot about being the general contractor of your own marketing. And I just wondered if you could kind of unpack that idea. What do you mean by that? And where does that perspective come from?
Yeah, so it's, kind of ties into what we're talking about here, right? So what happens with a contracting company a lot of times is you start up your business because you're great at what you do and you're wearing all the hats and doing all the things. And then, Joe or Benji or someone else is like, hey, you got to be doing this marketing thing. You're like, well, I'm already working 12 hours a day. I'm wearing 15 hats. Like, I don't want to do marketing. I just want to, pay this other guy, this agency or this Facebook ads guy or this Google guy or girl to, make my phone ring and generate those leads. Right. And so what happens is, as a contracting company, you accumulate, a website, then you get a Facebook ads guy, then you get maybe a video person, then a Google person, then like you're doing direct mail and you have all these, what I call marketing subcontractors out there trying to generate business for you. And they're running around like a bunch of subcontractors without a GC. And, they are not communicating, right? There's no cohesive plan. There's no blueprint. There's no regular meetings and things like that. So that's like if you had a big remodel project starting next Wednesday and you just told a bunch of subs to show up at this address on Wednesday and do the remodel. Well, they're going to build something, but it's likely not going to be what you want or the customer wants. It's not going to be very efficient. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be expensive. You're going to waste a lot of money, waste a lot of time. And that's exactly what happens with contractors and their marketing. So you've got to take ownership. Like you've got to GC your own marketing, which means that you should be doing some of it in-house, maybe not all of it, but certainly your content in-house, these video testimonials for sure. And you should have a base level of understanding of marketing so that you can collaborate with these subcontractors. You can get them on the same page. You can have a plan. You can have a budget. You can have regular, meetings, reports, tracking, measuring, analyzing, improving. Without that, it's just going to be a mess. So does that make sense?
It makes so much sense. I feel like I've had this conversation so many times where you'll be talking to someone and this isn't a knock on them. It's just like marketing is not their power zone, but you'll hear commentary where they're like, yeah, I hired this marketing guy and like, it's not working and he's an idiot. And then I hired another one and they're an idiot and it's not working. And there's like so much like pain and suffering and mistrust. And, you work in marketing, I work in marketing. We know that this is a bit of a Wild West. It's totally unregulated. And there are so many jokers around. So I do get why people have a bad taste in their mouth. Part of that is the quality of the contractor that you're working with or the service provider you're working with. But a really big part of this that I think needs to be said, like, let's just be honest, like, I think a lot of the time people are scared to take hold and be the GC of their marketing because there's such a knowledge gap that they kind of just want to clean their hands from it. He's doing it, they're doing it, she's doing it. I'm going to go build stuff. And you just make the phone ring. And it just doesn't work like that, does it?
No, and let me use an analogy that maybe some people can relate to. Like if you as a business owner do not understand the basic financials of your business and you go out and hire a bookkeeper, an accountant, outsourced or in-house, and you're like, I'm not a numbers guy. I don't want to deal with that. I just want to freaking swing a hammer. Like you deal with the numbers. Like, okay, you're not going to get the best results that you want. In worst case, you might get taken advantage of. So It's a very similar thing. Like you don't have to be a certified public accountant to understand your numbers, but you do need to understand the basics so that you can work with someone and collaborate and get the best results. Right. So very similar to that.
Yeah. It's part of it is just like accepting your role as an entrepreneur. Now, hey, you said you wanted to do this. You said you wanted to be a business owner. This is now fucking on your job description. Financial management is on your job description. Brand building and outbound marketing is on your job description. This is something that you need to be good at. If you are uninterested and just want to do the clean your hands of it thing, just go work for another company because this is literally your role. And I think the other analogy I like about like being the GC of your marketing, like building a home, let's use a simple example. Marketing is it's so multidisciplinary. Like there is and it's highly, highly specialized. Like a plumber is wildly different. The skills they have, the tools they use, the output they create is wildly different than a drywaller. Any builder's going to know that. With marketing, it's the exact same thing. Like your SEO person is completely different than, your Facebook ads guy or the branding agency you work with. These are completely different skill sets. And so it's your job a little bit to be sort of like what are those people at the front of an orchestra just directing it all? Like you're kind
Conductor.
of like a conductor. You're making sure that it all is, there's an overarching strategy that governs what each of these specialized people are doing. There's deadlines, there's a critical path, there's certain results and ROI you expect to get out of it. There's checks and balances along the way. And that is with the entrepreneurs that we've seen be super successful with this, that is how they do it. They're not doing it all themselves. That's definitely true. It's too much, but they are heavily involved from a leadership standpoint on what goes out the door for public consumption, why it goes out the door, and what it's meant to do for the company.
Absolutely. It's so true. It is your responsibility as a business owner. I heard Igor say it on a previous episode with you guys that, he's involved. He knows the marketing, he knows the finances, like what goes in and what comes out. And that's something that as a business owner, like, yes, it's your responsibility. That's what we signed up for. It's irresponsible to your team members, to your employees, to your family, to your customers for you to turn a blind eye to that stuff. Maybe it's not what you want to hear, but like, there's things in hey, I'm not throwing rocks from like, a place of like, I've never done anything wrong. Like there are things that I don't like in my business that I've turned a blind eye to or ignored, and they come back and bite you. So we need to learn these things.
Any other thoughts on this sort of conversation of like doing your marketing in-house versus contracting it out? It's a debate to some degree. What are your thoughts on the pros and cons of each?
I think a healthy company does a little bit of both, and we do, and we're a marketing training company, and we ran an agency for 7 years where we did the done for you marketing services, and now we're a training company, so we train contractors on how to do it. I'm not saying that in a salesy way, just to like give you some context there. And the reason that we morphed into a training company is because we see that it is imperative these days for any company, whether you're a contractor or a chiropractor or whatever it is, to have some marketing done in-house. And that's going to be your content. That's going to be video content. Like you can't hire a Facebook ads guy and 2 time zones away and expect them to generate amazing leads for you. Like they'll generate a quantity of leads, right? But they're not gonna be people that know, like, and trust you, right? That's got to come from in-house. So I'd recommend, what I say to every contractor is, it doesn't have to be you as the owner, but someone in your company should be working on marketing 10 hours a week at a minimum consistently, right? So if that's it could be a full-time marketing manager, it could be a spouse, it could be an admin person, it could be, one of your sons or daughters, it could be, one of our clients hired his mom to do his marketing, right? So someone other than the owner, ideally, because as an owner, you're pulled in all different directions, working on marketing 10 hours a week consistently, doing some of it in-house, and then liaising with those different subcontractors for the more technical aspects, right? Like you're not going to run your own Google ads in-house. I don't recommend that. It's very complex. But at least you should know enough to talk with that Google ads company or agency or guy to have a productive conversation and, continually improve. So that's my answer, kind of a hybrid approach. And, there's always this sliding scale of time and money, right? Like I think too many contractors are quick to like throw money at it. Whereas what they need to do is they need to invest some time and a little bit of money. Like you can't get away from, you're not going to spend, it doesn't matter how much money you spend. If you're not spending any time on it, then you're selling yourself short.
Listen, if you like that clip, you can watch the full episode by clicking here. If you're not yet subscribed, you probably should be, and you can do that by clicking right here.